What is up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hammerstein and today I'm going to give you my review here of the OnePlus 11. So I've actually used this phone for a good 2 to 3 weeks already as my daily driver. So I have actually quite experienced with this. I really use this quite a lot, I would say, in terms of social media, in terms of just watching shows and of course playing some games on it. I've actually used this a lot. So yes, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions and I will break this video down into 4 main sections over here to give you a more comprehensive review and just to share with you some of the pros and cons on using this phone. And this phone is of course on the back of the OnePlus 10T, which I did use extensively last year as well. I really did like that phone a lot and I was really looking forward for the OnePlus 11. So in today's video, let us just get right into it. Alright, so we're going to start off with the build and design on this phone, and what I can say is that yes, definitely you're going to feel the premiumness that comes with this phone. I mean, come on, we have the Corning Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and also a Glass 5 on the back, so definitely in terms of material, it is very good. Top of the line, I would say, even in 2023 standard. But also one thing I want to mention here is that yes, full on is made out of glass with your aluminum frame. You're going to get a little bit of fingerprints on the back over here, but it is quite actually easy to wipe it off, which I don't think I really notice it with a lot of other glass phones from other brands. But this one here, even though it's made out of glass, it's actually very easy to wipe out with a cloth or with your t-shirt, so it's nothing really much to worry about it. It does have a nice weight to it as well to add to that extra premium feel. So all in all, I think using this phone for the past 2-3 weeks, it definitely feels like a very good and sturdy phone. But there is one big but over here, which of course I want to talk about, is the slipperiness of this phone. So I had to use this phone for about 2 to 3 weeks without case because my case kind of came in a little bit late. So I had to use this phone naked, and normally I don't use my phones without a case anyway. So when I was using this phone, it got me into some conflict over here because it is quite slippery on the back, which is quite annoying because especially if you're like just putting it down on a flat surface, even on the front as well, you can kind of slip out all the way. And even if I put it into my pants as well, it is very slippery, and that's one thing you have to consider here if you do not want to use a case on this. And one thing I want to mention here is that the curved display on the front as well. So a lot of times when I'm just like lying down watching some of my shows, I'm just putting it in my face. Yes, it is quite slippery as well with the curve on the sides. So yes, it will kind of slip out, and I do get some accidental touches here and there. Alright, so next thing I'll talk about here is the viewing experience that comes with this phone, and this one here does cover the display, the speakers, and also the haptics on this. And in short, the viewing experience on this phone has been really good. I do like the colors that comes out from this AMOLED display. The 120Hz as well feels very buttery smooth and also very silky as well with all the animations. And even when I was just like switching in between apps and just going on to my gaming, going through social media, it feels very fast, very nice. So definitely not gonna notice a lot of problems. And also when it comes to like just watching a lot of shows, I've been watching a lot of X-Men recently. As you can tell from my back here, I like a lot of this shows. So like watching a lot of these old shows or new shows, the HD on this is really good as well. You can of course bump it up to all the way to Quad HD Plus with the 120Hz, which would drain a little bit more battery, but all in all, especially in terms of like just watching movies, I really like it. The speakers as well do sound really nice, very loud and also very clear as well, which is of course very important. And the haptics on this when I was playing some games as well has been really good. Even the dial keypad as well, it does give you that nice premium feel, not too heavy, not too light as well. So all in all, the viewing experience on this has been really good for me, so I'm gonna give a thumbs up for that. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the performance side of things. So the performance would definitely cover the speed, the RAM management, the battery performance, and also the software experience. So if we want to talk about speed, yes, here we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and of course it's OnePlus. So if you guys have used any OnePlus device before, it is really fast, very snappy as well, very fluid, and like I mentioned before, the animations look really nice and smooth all in all. I think they have done a really good job with the software side of things and also the whole speed, and they have kept it very well over the years. You don't really feel a lot of lags or stutters, which I did face a lot with the OnePlus 9 series, and with the 10T they have made a lot of improvements, and it follows through here with the OnePlus 11. Next thing I want to talk about here is the RAM management, and I love that RAM feature which they've had with since the OnePlus 10T, which I actually rave about a lot. Here we have the RAM Plus feature as well, and what I can say is that RAM management on this is really good. Here my phone does come with 12 gigs of RAM as well, so it's really fast. And in terms of just like switching in between apps, like a lot of times, again, like I mentioned in my 10T, a lot of times like during the day, I'm just opening up multiple apps, and the reason why I do that a lot with my OnePlus phones is because I don't really notice a lot of lags or stutters when I'm just using a lot of apps, and also leaving all the other older apps on the back as well. So it's really been really good. And again, sometimes there are certain apps that I remember, like at the beginning of the day, I just want to go back there, and it still works really well, and also still, don't really have a lot of refreshes. Of course, with some large apps, you're going to have that. But all in all, RAM management on this is really good. Not much of heating as well, even if you open up multiple apps. And next thing I'll talk about here definitely is the battery side of things. So over here, I do get about 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, which is really good. Definitely a better upgrade compared to the OnePlus 10T, which also performed really well. So in terms of battery performance here as well, it doesn't really drain a lot. Most of the time when I start my day about 9 a.m, when I get back home, I'm just doing all my dinner stuff and all that, I still get about 20 to 30% battery left. I just leave it overnight to the next day. I still get about maybe 15%, so it doesn't drain a lot in that sense. And of course, if you want to pump this baby up, you can use the 100-watt charger. I did really miss the 150-watt charger that they gave with the 10T because 15 minutes was just amazing, but with the 100 watts, within 30 minutes, you can get from about less than 10% all the way to 90% as well. And in terms of heating during the charging, you're not going to get that a lot with the OnePlus 11. I did wish that with at least the OnePlus 11, they could have added at least a basic 15 watts or maybe a 25-watt wireless charger over here to give it a little bit more value on this, but we do not have it here. And next thing I'll talk about here definitely is, of course, the software side of things. So over here, we have the Oxygen OS 13 on top of Android 13. So performance on this has been really good. There were certain things with the 10T that I did mention in my review, which of course I will leave a link. And they have made a lot of things on this phone here, a lot of changes on this, like for instance, like when the notification panel came out in the Android 12 version, it was just all one uni color and very annoying, very cluttered, I would say. And they have made that bubble thing over here with the OnePlus 11, the Oxygen OS 13, made it more uniform, made it more kind of more appealing to watch, more easy on the eyes. And of course, going on to the notification panel and all this, it does have a more premium and also more modern look, I would say. So it definitely feels more up to date. And of course, if you go to the settings as well, they have made a lot of changes there. I do feel it's a little bit more organized in that sense, so it's definitely better to use. But there were certain things that did still kind of bug me, and what I mean by that is that if you go around down again to the notification panel, you would have to kind of tap on each of the notification to have that a bit of that expanded window, which again is quite annoying because that adds into a little bit more steps, and you don't really have that option to like just kind of swipe down to see like your emails, what is coming through, or like some of your WhatsApp messages, what you can see. You have to tap on it on the arrow button, and not all of it have it as well. So it's a little bit annoying, which I think they can, of course, add it back into this phone and hopefully in a future update. Okay, so now let's talk about one of the most important things when it comes to OnePlus phones, and of course that is the cameras, which has been one of their Achilles heel over the years. And what I can say is that in terms of design, like I mentioned, I really do prefer this design. It's much better, I think, compared since to the OnePlus April, which I really do like. The OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 10T, and was a little bit boring, but I really do like this design. They have that circular on the side, and it does have the engraving to the corner, so it definitely feels very nice. And it does have a nice camera bump as well, so most of the time my finger does kind of rest on the bumps here, on the edges, so it does give it a little bit more grip in that sense. So talking about the cameras here, we have the triple camera on the back and also your selfie camera on the front. On the front, I wouldn't say it's the best selfie camera. The pictures does look a little bit soft for my liking. I did wish that they could have added an option for it to go for an ultra wider kind of view when you're taking group selfie shots. But all in all, I think it does get the job done in case if you guys want to do your vlogging or you want to take a quick, selfie snap. It does get the job done, but it's not the best, I would say. And of course, if you want to talk about the rear cameras here, I gotta say that the main lens and the ultra wide has been performing really nice. The colors do look really nice and very natural, I would say. It doesn't give you that nice punchy colors that comes with the phones like your Samsung or your other China phones like your Oppo and all that. It doesn't really give you that super detailed like your Pixels and your iPhones, but it does get the job done. I mean, if you can take a nice shot, you can show it to someone. I have already taken a lot of shots and I showed it around, and you gotta say, like normal people would say the photos look really nice, good amount of details, and especially when it comes to night mode as well, they have made a lot of improvements with it. So all in all, I gotta say the cameras here has been looking really good. The video as well in terms of stabilization is not the best. Like again, it's not the gimbal kind of things you're gonna get with like maybe the iPhones or the Samsungs, but it still gets the job done. Okay, so here's my final verdict of the OnePlus 11, and here in Malaysia it does go for about 32.99 or the 35.99 ringgit Malaysia phone models, and that is about the $800 mark. Yes, I know a lot of people are complaining that OnePlus phones have been increasing their prices over the years, but you also have to keep in mind that flagship phones have also been increasing their prices over the years as well. Of course, if you look at this phone and what it does offer, it does give you a top of the line chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, up to 16 gigs of RAM, which of course is more than enough for most people. It does give you very good battery life, and in terms of the viewing experience, it does give you a nice AMOLED display, LTPO3, good speakers, and also very good haptics when it comes to gaming as well. When you talk about the software here, it's a very clean software, and it does give you 5 years of software updates, so definitely you can keep this phone for a very long time as well. Of course, there are certain things that are lacking with this phone, like the wireless charger, which is seen with most of flagship phones, but it does make up with the super VOOC wired charging at the end of the day. Because when it comes to OnePlus phones, we have to talk about the cameras. I wouldn't say it's the same level as your Pixels, your iPhones, or Samsung, but definitely that collaboration with Hasselblad has improved their camera processing in terms of their still shots and their pictures. Of course, yes, videos have a lot more room for improvements when it comes to OnePlus, but in terms of photos, in terms of broad daylight, and of course in terms of night mode as well, they have made a lot of improvements over there, and they do compete pretty well with these three companies that I've mentioned. And of course, one more thing to note is that this is the company that took out the alert slider with the OnePlus 10T, but reintroduced back with the OnePlus 11 because of certain of negative feedback or certain backlash. So yes, this is a company that actually listens to their fans, and every small detail that you mention to them, they will definitely take it to account. And of course, this is something that I do appreciate and do admire about these companies. Of course, these are just my thoughts and my opinions. Do leave yours in the comment section down below. Okay, so if you did enjoy this video, do click the like and smash that subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. And so do follow me on my socials as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube at Dr. Hammer Snack.